Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Di, and today I'm sharing with you my diary entry for the week of May 5th through 11th. Today is Saturday, May 11th. So this week I finished 3 books, so that's quite a bit for me. I finished 3 books. I monogamously worked on one knitting item, so I'll talk to you about which item that was. I picked up 1 book, so I have a mini haul to share with you, and we'll do a little bit of talking about what I've been currently watching towards the end. So let's get into it. So 3 books this week. They were all digital books. And so I think I'll start off with Bride, because I've talked to you about that one in a previous diary entry. So I finished Bride by Ali Hazelwood. This is a paranormal romance story about an arranged marriage between a vampire and a werewolf. I quite enjoyed this one. It was definitely very interesting. There's a little bit of a mystery element going on in the story because there are a couple of different things that are happening in the background. And then you've got the 2 main characters, getting to know each other and the whole reason why they had to get married and all of that kind of stuff. So I enjoyed this one. The ending kind of left it open if the author decided to do a spin-off series or novel. And I think I'd be very interested in reading that one as well. And so I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Quite enjoyed it. And I think even though I've enjoyed what I've read from Ali Hazelwood recently, Check and Mate is young adult. So I think that's part of the reason why that worked for me. And this one, I've just been really into like paranormal romance lately. It's not something new for me. It's kind of something that I really enjoyed when I was in my teens and, early 20s. And it's just kind of coming back around to something that I'm getting back into and really enjoying. And so I think that's why this one also worked for me. I'm still not sure if I want to read Ali Hazelwood's other books because they're like women in STEM, and that's not something that I can really relate to. Plus, they're more like contemporary romance novels, and that's also not something I'm interested in. And so I don't think I'm going to explore Ali Hazelwood's other books, but I think if she came out with another young adult novel, or if she came out with another paranormal novel, I might check it out because I quite enjoyed both Check and Mate and Bride. So that was good. And then I finished an arc. And so I was contacted by Toodat. They are a pretty new publishing company, and they publish translated Korean novels. And so they have, I think, 3 novels out right now, and I think they're all on Wattpad and Web Novel. I had never heard about them until they reached out to me and asked me if I'd be interested in reading one of their advanced reader copies for a novel they have coming out. And so I thought, I'm really into like Korean dramas again, and I quite enjoy, manhwa. And so I thought, let me check out a Korean novel. So I accepted their offer, and the book actually comes out May 12th. So that's the day after I'm filming this, but by the time you see this, the book will already be out. But the book they had sent me was called 1,000 Faces, and this one is by Sosan. This story is about a guy who kind of grows up with a group of swindlers, and they kind of raise him, and so he kind of gets into swindling and things, and as he grows up, he ends up getting really good at these ploys, right? But he also finds an interest in acting, and so he watches a lot of films, and he kind of takes note of things that he sees on screen, and he uses those techniques in their ploys, and he gets really, really good. And he just has this passion. Well, eventually, of course, their life of crime catches up to them, and something happens where he ends up traveling back into his life to when he was a teen, and he's given the opportunity to kind of relive his life. And so he decides to pursue his passion for acting, take a different route. And he retains all of his memories from his previous life. So it's kind of a little bit like, if you've seen that Korean drama, Marry My Husband, where she is able to go back in time and relive part of her life and kind of change her stars, take a different route. That's kind of exactly what happens here. Now, I would say Marry My Husband has a little bit more of a kind of magical type of element, a fantastical element, whereas this one, it doesn't really. You really only get that like time travel aspect in the story. And so anyway, he decides to pursue acting, and that's kind of what we follow him doing throughout the story, and how he decides to change his stars, what decisions he decides to make, the opportunities that end up finding him in this new pursuit. He doesn't really go after these things. They just kind of fall into place for him. And so I had thought that, with the whole like time travel element, there would be a little bit more of a kind of magical element, a fantastical element to it. And so while I was reading, I kind of like was looking for that. And it doesn't ever pop up again. And so for me, like I just mentioned, I'm not really much of a contemporary reader. I don't really enjoy books that are about just like everyday life. People like experiencing normal everyday things. I don't enjoy reading stuff like that. I pretty much read to like get away from real life, right? That's kind of always what I've done. And so reading about things that can actually happen in real life are not things that I normally enjoy. So that kind of was something that didn't quite help me to enjoy this book. Plus the fact that our main character, I don't really find him to be a likable character. He's kind of very arrogant. And when you think about the fact that he's like so many years old in his mind when he travels back to his teen self, it makes sense, but at the same time, it doesn't make me want to root for him. Just some of the ways that he acted, I didn't enjoy. He's very full of himself, which works for what he's trying to do, and the opportunities that kind of fall into place for him. That whole like air of, I guess, conceitedness. I guess you could say it's confidence, because he's like, pretty secure in his abilities, and he knows what he can and can't do. But he just comes across as being full of himself, and I don't enjoy characters like that. It doesn't make me want to root for them, and so that kind of put a damper on my reading as well. The story is kind of slow moving. I would say as far as pace goes, it felt pretty slow. Very easy to read though. There's a lot of tropes in there from other Korean dramas that I'd watched before. I had mentioned Marry My Husband, so if you're somebody who enjoys Korean dramas, I think you would enjoy this, especially if you're somebody who likes like really contemporary stories and maybe has an interest in acting. I think that's part of the reason too why I didn't enjoy the story more than I did, was because I have no interest in acting. I recently watched a like drama on idol culture and idols and them doing their business, but I have an interest in music, so I think that's why that worked for me. But acting, I don't really have an interest in, and I don't know much about it. And so some of the things that were going on while he was like doing auditions, or things people were seeing in him, I didn't quite understand, because I feel like with acting, especially when you're acting a scene that has no dialogue, which kind of happens a lot in this book, you have to show that to the person reading. And there was a lot of telling and not showing. And so when it came to things like saying how he was like this prodigy and how he did such an amazing job showing this thing, but didn't go into detail about what he was doing and stuff, that kind of really didn't help me to understand what was going on. And so, yeah, all of those things combined just didn't make this story as good as I was hoping it was going to be. That being said, though, something happens in the final, like, 15 to 20% of this book that is very interesting. There's something going on there that I'm very interested to see what the outcome is going to be, because, of course, this being the first book in a series, and I don't think I mentioned that to you up front, but this is volume 1, it stops in the middle of a pretty interesting situation. And so you kind of have to read the next one in order to find out what the conclusion of that situation is going to be. And so I ended up giving this 3 stars. For me, that's still a good rating. It still meant that I enjoyed it, which I did. And I'm still interested in reading the next one because, like I said, at that point in the end, 15 to 20%, that whole event really kind of picked up the pace for me with this story. And I quite enjoyed that section. In comparison to what had happened previously, I was much more invested in what was going on with our character there than I had been for the previous 80%. Now, I am enjoying some of the side characters that we meet, one in particular. And so I'd really like to see what happens with them as well, because something's also brewing with that character as we head towards the end of this book. And so, yeah, I'll definitely be continuing with this series. Like I said, this book comes out on May 12th. So if you find what I had said about this book interesting, and definitely check it out. Like I said, it is on Wattpad and Web Novel, and I believe it's only going to be available on Kindle right now. I don't know if they're planning on releasing physical copies, but I think I did see it on Kindle as a pre-order. So thanks again to the publisher for sending me a copy of this to review in exchange for my honest opinion. That had no impact on my thoughts on this book, just so that you know. So that was that one. I was really glad I was able to read and finish it before the publication date, so that was great. And then the last book that I just finished early this morning, and that is We'll Never Tell by Wendy Hurd. And so this particular one, I had heard about it from somebody's YouTube video recently, like within the last couple weeks. And I can't remember who I saw it from. But the premise of the story was one of those things where I was like, yes, that sounds like it's going to be for me. Went to my library, put it on hold, and just forgot about it. And the holds came in, both the audiobook and the ebook copy. I will usually put the audiobook and ebook copy on at the same time when I'm putting holds on at my library through Libby, because either one, whichever gets to me first. And if they get to me around the same time, then I can like combo read them. So I always try to do that, and I was able to get both of them within a day of each other released to me, so that was great. So I did start reading that one, and I finished it this week. This one is about a group of friends, and they have a YouTube channel. And their YouTube channel is something that is kind of a secret. So they go into like kind of infamous places around LA, Los Angeles. And they film, like, I guess you would call it investigative style within these places. Sometimes that involves trespassing. But they're in their last year of high school, and for the group of friends, that means that some of them are going away for college. And so they've decided that they're going to film one last video, and it's going to be their like big hurrah. And they're going to go to the famous Valencini I think that's the name, murder house. And the whole lore about this house is that there was a murder mystery that happened at that house that involved like a Hollywood like starlet, like old Hollywood starlet back in the day. And so it's kind of been abandoned this whole time, and they thought, oh yeah, you know, we're definitely going to go check that out. That's going to be like our crowning moment for the end of our YouTube channel. And so they do all the things that they normally do when they're going on one of these trips. And so they get into the house and they find some interesting things. And then all of a sudden, one of their friends gets stabbed. And they think he's dead. So they like hurry out, because then an alarm starts blaring and they think they're going to get caught. And turns out that their friend wasn't actually dead. And so now there's kind of like okay, what happened? Investigation being done by the cops. Was it one of the friend group? Was it somebody else that was in the house that they didn't know was there? Or was it something a little bit more supernatural? And so this is a YA novel. There is some LGBTQ representation in it. And I thought this one was entertaining. For me, this book had a little bit too much teen drama. There was like a story there, definitely, about, you know, the house and figuring out the mystery, because there's not only the mystery of the murder that happened with the starlet years ago that you're kind of like learning about as you go through the book, but there's also the mystery of what happened to their friend going on. And we follow kind of two POVs. It's only two of the friend group of four, and so I don't know, it didn't quite get mysterious enough for me, I think. I think some of the tags on this book on Goodreads are like thriller or suspense, and I didn't really feel those things. I definitely felt like the story had an air of mystery in it, and so that is kind of what kept me reading. But I would say that this story was also very slow paced for me. I listened to most of it on audiobook, and in fact, I normally listen to things on 2 times audio speed, unless that makes the voice narration sound strange, because sometimes even at 2 times speed, it kind of distorts the voice enough where it's irritating to me. And in that case, I will go down to 1.5. This one, however, I cranked up to 2.5, and it still felt really slow to me. So I don't know. I don't know if that also like didn't help with the pacing of the story for me, but it just felt like it was dragging. And like I said, there was a lot of teen drama there that I could have done without. And I don't know if, had all of that been taken out, if the story would have moved better for me. I definitely think it would have been different if we had spent more time with the friend group beforehand, like before they had planned to go to this house, because the story kind of drops you in like right before they go in, and so you don't really know them. You don't spend enough time with them to like form any kind of attachments or anything like that, or be interested in what's going on with their lives. And I think if we had had that, I would be more invested in what had happened in these kids' lives and that, you know, their teen drama. But because we don't get that, and it kind of just drops you into what they do for their YouTube channel, and then kind of elaborates on stuff that's going on in their lives. I don't know, I didn't really connect with what was going on. I had no interest in who liked who and who was dating who and what was going on. One of the characters, I would say the main female character, she definitely has an unsolved mystery in her like family, and so I was interested in that. But at the same time, some of the decisions that she was making kind of got on my nerves. I would say that this definitely had some glaring conclusions that were like so obviously not the right conclusion. At least for me as a reader, like I was like, why is this going there? Because it was so obvious that that wasn't like the answer. But at the same time, while I was reading, I didn't have that urge to say, oh, maybe it's this person or maybe it's that person, which tells me that I wasn't very invested in this book. Because if I was, I would already be thinking, okay, you know, maybe it was this person because of this, this, and this, or maybe it was this person because of this, this, and this. And I had none of that while I was reading this book. So I definitely know that while I found this to be entertaining, this wasn't something for me. It was interesting. I enjoyed like the mysterious elements, and the conclusion of the story did definitely make sense to me. And so that was great. We get a lot of kind of like epilogue chapters at the end after like the whole big reveal and everything. And I'm not quite sure I needed all of that either. So in any case, I did enjoy this book. I found it to be entertaining. But it's definitely not one of those things that I would say I'd reread or even buy a copy for myself. Because it was just too much teen drama. Too much teen drama that I wasn't interested in. I think maybe if I was of the target age, this book would have definitely worked better for me. And I would have been more interested. I would have had those kind of wants to try to figure out who done it, what done it, what was going on. And I think if I was that age when I picked this book up, for myself, it definitely would have been something that I would have really, really enjoyed and gotten into, because it's the type of thing that I did enjoy when I was that age. So I ended up giving this one 3 stars, which to me, again, still a good rating. I listened to most of it on audiobook. The narrator did fine. And then I read like the last 20%, I think, on the ebook copy. And yeah, so I think that's pretty much all I have to say on the books that I finished this week. So I had a 1 4-star read, 2 3-star reads. And I would say that, you know, the 3-star reads I had this week weren't actually books that I picked out for myself. So I think that kind of goes against my like mood read May vibes. And I think that's probably why they rated the way they did. And so I'm still on that journey to get more 4-star reads than 3. And right now, as far as the books that I finished this month, I think I have 1 5-star read, which was a reread, a 4-star read, and 2 3-star reads. So still more 3-star reads than anything. So that's pretty much all that I have as far as reading goes. I'm still in the middle of Kingdom Keepers. I did not read any more of that this week because I was trying to get that arc done, 1,000 Faces. And so I put that one to the side. So I do have intentions on picking that one up again in the following week. And then I get to start a new audiobook since I finished We'll Never Tell. And so I think that's all that I have for my reading at the moment. So let's get into another Yarnie update. So I did monogamously work on one project, and that project was my daughter's Pure Fuzz. So I don't know, I just really wanted to get some progress in on this, and so I just let myself do that. I did have a meeting this week that I was hoping that I was going to be able to work on my Haikyuu Socks, but that meeting ended up being something that I was actually able to do actual work during, and so I decided to do actual work instead of just sitting and knitting. And so yeah, I do have intentions on pulling out those socks this week though, so you will probably see those in my next diary entry. But back to the Pure Fuzz. So this is my daughter's Pure Fuzz, which we are calling the Fulger because that's the name of the person that this color scheme is inspired by. And so the last time I talked to you, I was up here, so right here, and so I've done about this much in the body, and then I have one sleeve and two sleeves. So now I just have to finish the body and this will be done. So really happy with this so far. I did unintentionally do the sleeves a little bit different than her previous Pure Fuzz. So I have, like I mentioned before, done this pattern by Skeindeer for my daughter already in Wonder Fluff by Knit Picks. So this version is being done with 2 strands of Knit Picks Palette and 1 strand of Knit Picks Alpaca Cloud to get the gauge. But for whatever reason, I accidentally did the decreases for somebody of my size, the decrease rate for someone of my size as opposed to someone of her size. And so there's a little bit of a sharper decrease rate on the sleeve here than there was on her previous Pure Fuzz. But I think that'll just make this just a little bit more, the sleeve more different. The sleeve will still fit nicely. It'll just be a little bit more tapered and fitted than the previous version. But I think it worked out well. And so I did copy the mistake I made on the other side. So both arms do match. And you can see this is how I mark my decreases. So I was actually supposed to decrease every 7 rounds for her size because we're doing size 1 for her. And I ended up decreasing every 4 rounds on this one. So again, a much more sharper rate of increase. That also meant that I actually was able to get down to the number of stitches indicated in the pattern this time, as opposed to the last time where I had to stop, I think 4 stitches bigger. And so, yeah, it'll just fit a little bit differently, but it'll still fit good nonetheless. And so, yeah, I think I've got maybe 5 or 6 more inches to go in the body, and then this will be done. So I'm very happy with this. Should be done with this maybe next week. We will see. Again, Knit Picks palette in Mist, Knit Picks palette in Hollyberry. So you can see that I have to put in my last skeins pretty soon. And then I have Knit Picks Alpaca Cloud in Thomas, which is a black. So 2 in 100% Peruvian Highland wool, 1 in 100% alpaca. And so I think I'm going to have a lot of that Alpaca Cloud left because I'm actually working off of just a little tiny chunk right now of the previous skein. And then this was the skein that I worked on for the sleeves. And so you can see I have quite a bit left. Plus, I still have 1 whole hank. And so I'm definitely going to have more of this left. I might even have enough to do another sweater for her. So, yeah, that might be nice. And then I have 1 skein of each of these left. So I definitely will be tucking into these soon. And so I won't have as much Knit Picks palette, but I will definitely have a lot more of the Alpaca Cloud left. So yeah, very happy with this project. So far it's working out great and I should be done with it very soon. So that'll be nice. So something I didn't mention to you guys before is that I'm on vacation this week. So by the time you see this video, I'll be halfway done with my vacation. I am going away. And so there's going to be a little bit of vacation vlogging for you in next week's episode. But that also means that because I'm going away, I do need to pack some knitting projects. So I'm definitely going to be taking the daughter's Fulger to try to finish that up. And then I do plan on taking the Haikyuu Socks. So just a reminder of what's in this bag. It's my Haikyuu Socks. It's just a plain 1x1 rib, 3x1 broken rib sock from the Anime Yarn Club from Hawari Bazaar in the Haikyuu colorway. And so that's the second sock. This is the first sock, so it'll eventually look like this. So I definitely want to work on this while I'm on vacation as well, because we picked up our tickets for the Dumpster Battle movie. And so we will be seeing that at the end of the month, and I definitely want to have my pair of socks done. So I've got like 2 weeks, I think, to finish, which is plenty of time. And so I definitely want to make sure I work on this. So those are the 2 projects that I plan to take. It's going to be a really, really fast trip, nothing like really long, and so that's why I think having the 2 projects will be enough. And so, yeah, definitely some fun and interesting things happening while I'm on vacation, and so you'll hear all about that next week. So I think that's pretty much it for my Yarnie update. Now let's get into the book haul. I did pick up one book recently, and that is Sweet Nightmare by Tracy Wolff. I had my mom pick this one up for me from work. This is the first book in the Calder Academy series, I believe, which is a spin-off series to the Crave series by Tracy Wolff. This one has painted edges, and I've never had painted edges before, and so when I was like trying to like flip through, you can kind of hear that the pages are all stuck together. And so I think I'm gonna have to like flip through it a little bit before I start reading this. That being said, I'm not taking a hardback book with me on vacation. I really, really want to get into this. This is one of my most anticipated reads for this year. But I'm going to be borrowing an audiobook copy from my library to take with me while I'm on vacation. Because I really enjoyed the Crave series on audiobook. And so I want to see what the narration is going to be like for this series. And so I'm hoping that this is going to be just as good as the Crave series for me. And then I'll combo read from where I finished off with the audiobook with this book when I get back from my vacation. Because my library doesn't have ebook copies of this yet. They only have the audio. And so that's fine for me. Like I said, I really enjoyed the Crave series, and it'll kind of be nice because around this time last year I was on vacation, like it was a month and a half or so earlier, but I had really gotten into the Crave series at that time, and so having this book around the time where I'm going on vacation now, I'm hoping it'll be just as enjoyable of an experience for me, and it'll kind of like, you know, be the same kind of really good vacation vibes. And so, yeah, really looking forward to this. This one on the back says Calder Academy is a total nightmare. Really looking forward to getting into this. So now that I have actually finished several books, my plan is to take the Kingdom Keepers book. Again, I'm not going to take the physical copy. I have borrowed an ebook copy from my library, so I've already downloaded that to my tablet, because I will just be taking my tablet instead of a Kindle and a tablet. I just downloaded the Kindle app to my tablet, and so I've downloaded my Libby stuff onto that app. So I borrowed a copy of the Kingdom Keepers book. I will take that. I have my audiobook copy of Sweet Nightmare, so I will take that. There is another book that I'm really, really interested in reading, but I'm not sure that I will start that before I get back from vacation. I'm just going to kind of play it by ear. Because again, what is Mood Read May if you don't play it by ear, right? I'm just kind of wanting to let my wants lead me to what I'm reading. And so that's how I'm going to let it go for my vacation. So now let's talk about what we're watching. So I mentioned to you that we picked up our tickets for the Dumpster Battle, Haikyuu movie Dumpster Battle. So we started our Haikyuu rewatch. We started last night. We watched 5 episodes. I think we're going to try to watch about 5 episodes every evening. I'm not sure that we're going to be able to keep up that pace while I'm away, but I do have the Crunchyroll app on my tablet, so maybe not, not sure. But we tend to marathon watch Haikyuu when we do our rewatches, and so I have no doubt that we are going to be able to finish our watch through of Haikyuu before the movie. And so yeah, it was just really enjoyable. Looking forward to continuing with that this evening. And we did start another drama, and so I started watching the drama Map to the Wedding. It's a Japanese drama that's on Amazon Prime, and it is the drama adaptation of the manga 365 Days to the Wedding. I just thought it might be really cute to watch, and so we started watching that this week. I'm really enjoying the Japanese drama. It's really cute, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. It's only a 10-episode drama, so it's a super fast one, and it got me interested in finally picking up the manga. So I did read about half a volume of the manga last night, so I'll definitely talk to you about that one soon. But again, I don't like taking books and stuff with me on trips, because I tend to find that all the bustle and jostle and the jostling of everything just makes it prime opportunity for books to get ruined. And so since I have a physical copy, I'm probably going to try to finish up that volume tonight, and then I'll talk to you about it the next time I film. And so yeah, really good week, I think. I feel good that I'm on vacation. I got a lot of stuff done. I'm feeling really accomplished. 3 books this week. I don't think my reading mojo is back yet. I'm still reading. I read all the time, but I just am not finding those really 4-star reads yet. But I think I'm on my journey there. I just need to be able to pick my own things instead of reading out of obligation or reading something else somebody had recommended. So we're going to continue with my Mood Read May project. I'm looking forward to going away for vacation. Like I said, you will definitely see clips in my next diary entry. And so yeah, I think that's pretty much all that I will be sharing with you for now. Let me know down in the comments below what you've been watching, what you've been reading, what you've been working on. And if nothing else, and you'd just like to let me know that you were here, if you could leave me something magical down in the comments below, that would be greatly appreciated and would really help me out. And that will do it for me today. So I hope you're all doing great. I hope you're all safe and healthy. And until next time, take care and smile always. Bye.